How does a water company go from being worth absolutely nothing to hitting a market cap of $1.4 billion in just 5 years? To put that in perspective, it took Apple 20 years to get to the billion-dollar mark, Microsoft at least a decade, and Disney over 40 years. But what if I told you there's a company called Liquid Death that managed to pull it off in just 5 years? And they did all that while just selling water. This is the story of Liquid Death and how they became a billion-dollar giant simply by making water look cool. Alright, so like most of the success stories that you see out there, this one started with one man, an idea that most people would have overlooked. That man was Mike Cesario. You see, back in 2014, Mike was at the Vans Warped Tour watching his friends play in a band. The stage was buzzing, the crowd was wild, and the musicians were doing their thing. For the event, Monster Energy were the big sponsors, so naturally the musicians were holding cans of Monster. The only thing was they weren't chugging energy drinks, and for obvious reasons. Instead of just loading their bodies with caffeine, they were drinking water. Yep, they had filled the cans with water to stay hydrated during their sets, but at the same time wanted to look cool for the audience. That's when it hit Mike and he began asking questions. Okay, so why is it that healthy products like water always come with these bland, boring packaging, while energy drinks and junk food, they got all the edgy and rebellious branding? Why wouldn't something as essential as water have the same bold attitude? And that's where the idea for Liquid Death came from. Mike didn't just want to sell water. He wanted to make drinking it feel as cool as grabbing an energy drink at a rock concert. Water, but with a rebellious twist. And that's exactly what he did. Later that year, Cesario was working on a public service ad campaign about the dangers of sugar energy drinks when he had another crazy thought. What if he created a water brand that made fun of all the ridiculous over-the-top image of energy drinks? A canned water stunt designed to poke fun at all the intense in-your-face branding. Initially, the client he pitched the idea to wasn't into it, but Mike couldn't shake the idea. He kept tweaking it on the side for years and eventually figured it out. Mike knew he didn't have the big bucks to compete with the huge marketing budgets of other beverage brands, so the brand itself had to be so wild and memorable that people couldn't help but talk about it and share it. It had to create its own buzz. That's when he leaned into this strategy he still swears by today. Come up with the dumbest idea possible, because according to him, when you try to be smart, you just end up copying what's already been done. But if you aim for something so dumb, you might stumble on something truly original. So Mike asked himself, what's the dumbest name for a super healthy drink like water? And the answer hit him: Liquid Death. It sounded ridiculous, but that was the point. By 2017, Mike trademarked the name and knew he was onto something. It was bold, weird, and totally unforgettable, which was the exact recipe for a brand that could make waves in a market full of boring water bottles. After securing the Liquid Death trademark, Cesario wasted no time getting to work. He knew he had something unique, but he wanted to see if the public felt the same, so he created a bold, in-your-face video ad to test the waters, and the response was insane. The video racked up 3 million views before a single can was even available to buy. Clearly, people were into it. Once the water got launched, things escalated quickly, and within just a few months, Liquid Death had over 100,000 likes on Facebook, outpacing already established brands like Aquafina. By 2019, Mike's vision went beyond just selling water. It was about building a lifestyle brand that people could connect with. He targeted spots that fit Liquid Death's rebellious vibe: bars, tattoo parlors, and barbershops in cities like Philly and LA. Mike aimed the brand squarely at straight-edge communities and fans of heavy metal and punk rock, tapping into an audience that already embodied the brand's edgy, no-compromise spirit. By 2019, Liquid Death officially hit the market through its website and began its journey of turning what started as a crazy idea into a full-blown cultural movement. With all the buzz building around the brand, it was only a matter of time before Mike's bold idea grabbed the spotlight. Just a few months after Liquid Death officially launched, the brand secured $1.6 million in seed funding, which was led by Science Inc. This brought their total to $2.25 million, but that was just the warm-up. By 2020, Liquid Death got another $9 million of Series A funding, followed by a huge $23 million Series B round later that year. What started as an out-there concept was now turning heads across the beverage world. The momentum didn't stop there. In February the very next year, Liquid Death hit Whole Foods market shelves, and the brand quickly became their fastest-selling water product. Not bad for a brand that only just started. By August, Liquid Death took it a step further, landing in 200 7-Elevens across LA and San Diego as part of a trial run. The edgy brand that once seemed niche was now mainstream. Things kicked into high gear in 2021 when Liquid Death raised another $15 million in Series C funding, with Live Nation jumping on board. The deal meant Liquid Death became the exclusive water sold at Live Nation concerts concerts and events, putting the brand in front of massive crowds. By the end of the year, they expanded into major supermarket chains like Publix and Sprouts, solidifying their spot on shelves nationwide. And just when it seemed like Liquid Death couldn't grow any faster, in Jan of 2022, the brand raised a jaw-dropping $75 million in Series C funding, pushing their valuation to an incredible $525 million. By 2021, Liquid Death's momentum was undeniable. Mike Cesario revealed that the company's revenue had skyrocketed to $45 million, with projections hitting $130 million for the following year. Investors were paying attention. In October 2022, Liquid Death raised another $70 million in funding, led by Science Inc., boosting the company's valuation to $700 million. While some, like Dan Primack of Axios, were skeptical of the insider-led valuation, it was clear the brand was still on an upward trajectory. Then, in mid-2024, Liquid Death hit another milestone. They got $67 million in new funding, which pushed their valuation to a staggering $1.4 billion. Not only that, but the company reported an impressive $263 million in retail sales for 2023, cementing their place as a billion-dollar powerhouse. What started as a quirky, edgy concept transformed into a market juggernaut in just a few short years. So far, everybody's been blown away by Liquid Death's explosive growth in such a short time, turning a simple idea into a billion-dollar brand almost overnight. But despite all the buzz and excitement, there's one question no one seems to have a clear answer to. How exactly did they pull it off? How did a canned water company manage to stand out in such a crowded market and grow so fast? Well, there are plenty of answers to this question, but if we're being real, the number one answer would be marketing. With a tight budget, the company had no choice but to get creative. Instead of relying on big ad spends, they focused on crafting content so entertaining and shareable that people naturally spread the word. Liquid Death also knew that branding would be one of the main selling points, so they leaned into it hard. The name Liquid Death plays on two ideas: murdering your thirst and death to plastics, which speaks to their commitment to eco-friendliness. By packaging their beverages in recyclable aluminum cans instead of plastic, they position themselves as a cool, rebellious brand with a purpose. It wasn't just about selling water, it was about creating a movement against plastic waste and making hydration fun, edgy, and a bit outrageous. This unique approach didn't stop with the name or packaging. Liquid Death used humor to mock the boring, soulless marketing that people have grown tired of. They weren't just selling a product, they were making fun of the way typical corporate brands try to sell unhealthy junk food or beer. With that playful irreverence, they turned marketing into something people actually wanted to engage with. Their social media presence exploded too, with millions of followers on TikTok and Insta. Thanks to clever partnerships with influencers like Travis Barker, Steve-O, and comedian Bert Kreischer, who's now an investor, Liquid Death's viral campaign have attracted massive attention. Their TikToks regularly get hundreds of thousands of views, with one even hitting 23 million. By combining humor, eco-consciousness, and a healthy dose of rebellion, Liquid Death tapped into something new, making their brand impossible to ignore. Another key to Liquid Death's success is how they've made water a more appealing option for nights out. If you're the designated driver or just not drinking, holding a plain water bottle in a bar where everyone else is drinking beers and cocktails can be a bit awkward. Liquid Death changes that. The sleek, edgy design of their cans looks just like a beer or energy drink, making it easier for someone to fit in without feeling out of place. This packaging does more than just look cool. It removes the stigma of being the one person not drinking. Musicians used to hide their water and energy drink cans on stage, and now Liquid Death embraces that same idea, giving an option that feels just as bold as anything else on the menu. It's no wonder their biggest supporters come from the live music scene, with Live Nation investing in the brand early on. It's a perfect fit for concerts and festivals, where staying hydrated should feel just as exciting as grabbing a beer. And now, that demand is spilling over into bars, venues, and events across the country. Beyond the appearance of its packaging, another reason behind Liquid Death's rapid growth is how they've tapped into the sober movement. As more people shift towards healthier lifestyles and cut back on booze, there's been a surprising demand for non-alcoholic alternatives. Liquid Death's riding that wave by expanding its lineup beyond just water, adding sparkling water and iced tea to the mix. This broadening appeal positions them not only within the traditional water market, but also in the emerging non-alcoholic drink space. With more consumers embracing the sober-curious trend, Liquid Death offers a cool, rebellious alternative for those looking to stay social without alcohol. It's the perfect blend of eye-catching packaging and edgy marketing, which makes it easier for people to choose healthier drinks while still feeling part of the party. By catering to those evolving tastes, Liquid Death's carving out its own niche and taking market share from both the water and non-alcoholic beverage industries. As said earlier, pairing up with the right audience has been a game changer for Liquid Death. In 2021, the company teamed up with Live Nation to become the exclusive water at numerous venues and festivals across the U.S. This partnership was a natural fit, given the brand's deep connection with the music scene. Their involvement not only supported live shows but also aligned with their mission to reduce plastic waste at concerts. Then in 2023, Liquid Death expanded their reach by partnering with Download Festival, a major event in the metal community. The results were impressive. Festgoers drank more than double the amount of the water compared to the previous year and significantly cut down on plastic waste during the UK festival season, giving it the idea that Liquid Death was inspired by a music festival experience. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, Liquid Death has never shied away from taking on big players like Pepsi and Coke. The brand's bold approach is evident in campaigns like their Loving Homes for Plastic initiative, where they offer customers prepaid stickers to return empty plastic bottles. This campaign challenges major beverage companies directly, highlighting Liquid Death's commitment to reducing plastic waste. In the end, it's brands like Liquid Death that truly stand out in a crowded marketplace. Despite facing critics and controversies, Liquid Death's redefined what it means to succeed in an industry dominated by giants. Their innovative approach to branding and marketing has not only made waves, but also set a new standard for how to disrupt an already saturated market. With its lightning-fast rise and fearless creativity, Liquid Death has set the stage for even more jaw-dropping stunts ahead. As the brand continues to defy expectations, we can't wait to see what wild moves they've got planned next.